Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, and welcome to I Ask No One, episode number 36. 36, man. Cheers. Cheers to you. Happy birthday. Happy belated birthday to my dad, Kevin J. LoVullo. My dad turned 61 yesterday. Love you, Dad. Cheers. Nearing the end here. I pretty much have only drank this for our episodes. One of my resolutions for next year is to continue to grow this this outlet for me, but to also, hey, maybe get a sponsorship and get 1,000 subscribers. That would be killer, and then it'll just keep snowballing, man. But it's all just a good time, and thank you for joining. Looking, I see we got Luke, we got Tony, we got Mark here. Thanks, guys. So for my dad's birthday yesterday, you've heard of the app Cameo. So Cameo, you pay a celebrity X amount. It ranges from $10 to $500, and you give them X amount of characters to wish a happy birthday to a friend or a family member, or Merry Christmas or well wishes, whatever it may be. My twin brother Ryan, who is now living in Athens, Greece for 2 years now, he got Gary Busey to wish my dad a happy birthday, and he played a little guitar too. And Gary Busey, literally the only Gary Busey I know is my all-time favorite funny comedy movie is Black Sheep, Chris Farley the Almighty. And there's a line in that movie where he says to David Spade, "I'd go to your mama's and start a small fire in her panties. No, you're gonna get out of the car." And he shared that with my dad about going to his mama's and starting a fire in her panties. God bless Grandma Jean. So that was hilarious. I'll have to post that somehow. But also the birthday yesterday, Randy Castillo would have been his birthday. He passed in 2002. One of my all-time favorite drummers. He was drumming for Mötley Crüe, actually, from 99 to 2002 when he passed. But he was the drummer on some of my all-time favorite Ozzy records in the 80s. So R.I.P. Randy Castillo. And Dad, again, love you and happy birthday. Can't wait to see you in less than a week for some Christmas fun. You continue to inspire me every day. And today's quote I dedicate to you. It's from Dale Carnegie. And when I think of quotes, when I think of you in quotes, really, there's a lot that come to mind that you've shared with us kids over the years. But the one that stands out is something, act enthusiastic and you'll be enthusiastic. You always pointed, you always were enthusiastic when giving us that quote growing up. And, us, when we were going through the Dale Carnegie Youth Development Program and those classes, his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, #2 best-selling book to the Bible. If you've never read it, it's a good one. But Dad's dad was a teacher in the Dale Carnegie course, and he taught prisoners. And I could go on about Dale Carnegie, but Dad, thanks a lot, and love you. Thanks. Looking at some comments here. Yeah, this I've never worn a Santa hat. I don't think so since I was a kid. This is Ashlyn's idea. So there you go. Fact of the day. So today I want to share what happened today. Today on December the 19th in 1970, Elton John had his first U.S. hit. That was 50 years ago today. He had his first U.S. hit. It's a song called Your Song. And Ashlyn and I, we refer to it as Our Song, maybe. But that went #1 in the Billboard 200, and that was in 1970. Elton John means a lot to Ashlyn and I, our first date being Elton John, December the 15th of 2018. Very cool. In 2015, Michael Jackson's Thriller was the first record ever in the U.S. to hit 30 million copies sold in the U.S. alone. 2015, Michael Jackson Thriller, 30 million. Next up, the next one to get to 30, which is currently at 29 million, is the Eagles' greatest hit, 71 to 75. That's a record that was released in 76. Eagles' greatest hits. That has sold 29 million. And again, Thriller, that was in 82. Number 3 in line, Billy Joel. Not the biggest fan of Billy Joel, but big time respect. And on an hour to-do list to go see him at MSG one of these days. His greatest hits volumes 1 and 2 released in '85. That has sold 23 million copies. And maybe the next one hit 30 million is Tyrese's 2000 Watts. As I take a look at some of these comments. Yep, Dad also shares birthdays with Keith Richards, Brad Pitt, Steven Spielberg, Ray Liotta, really, and Jacques Pepin. I don't know who Jacques Pepin is, but I do know who Stone Cold Steve Austin is. And Stone Cold, it was his birthday yesterday too, and Trish Stratus. Dad shares a lot of cool birthdays on December the 18th. My mother is on the same day as Jim Carrey. That's a pretty sweet one. Any of the viewers right now, the 9 of you right now, you share a birthday with anyone pretty cool, worth noting? So, today's subject is the almighty Metallica. This is the only souvenir I have from that show that happened on July the 5th, 2003. I just want to go just real briefly how I ended up at that place, because it's 2003. I'm 15 years old. So is my twin brother, and we're just shooting the puck out the net outside the street hockey ball with, it was me, my twin brother Ryan, and Jared Lee. I remember the warehouse. I was facing North Forest, and he asked me if I've ever heard of a band called Metallica. And Metallica, oh, Hannah, you share a birthday with Drake? Cool. Danner Craig, nice. But Metallica, when I hear Metallica that has the word metal in it, I thought it was so aggressive. You know, it was too aggressive. Guns N' Roses is too aggressive, too metal. Metal is angry music. And I asked Jared, hey, is that the band that has the lead singer that goes, hey, hey, hey? And I was referencing the one from the I Disappear music video that was on in 2000. 2000 was the year I got into Hybrid Theory, of course, and but that was in 2000. And I asked him, yeah, was that the video that there was the dude with the long hair running away from the planes? And it turns out that, yeah, that was Metallica. That was the hey, 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 yeah. James Hetfield of Metallica. And Jared said yes. And that is the only thing I knew about Metallica. I think from when the bell tolls, the intro, the diddly 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 diddly, that intro lead riff that I heard that on 103.3 The Edge once, and then Savage True, which I'll get into in a second. And he asked us if we wanted to go. He had 2 extra tickets up there in Toronto, Ontario. His family, well, of course, he was Korean, but his mother was raised in Canada, and she had a sister up there, and they had 2 extra tickets. Jared gave me and Ryan his 2 extra tickets. And opening for Metallica, I pretty much, that's what sold me on going to this concert, were openers Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park, especially Linkin Park. The other openers I didn't really hear of before, Deftones, and then Mudvayne. The only Mudvayne I knew was the Dig music video with the dudes with the paint on their face and, you know, just going all crazy in that video from 2000. So I figure, hey, you know, what the heck? The first show I ever was at was Backstreet Boys in 1998 at the Darien Lake Amphitheater. And been to Disney on Ice. I've been to some really loud Sabres playoff games when Yager and Lemieux came through in like 2000, 2001 or something for a playoff game. I just remember it was so loud. And that's exactly how I felt at the stadium when we went up there to the Toronto Sky Dome where the Blue Jays play, right there in downtown Toronto. And the day of the show, we're talking summer 2003, July 4th, of course, was July 4th. And the day before that, July the 3rd, we saw Monday Night Raw at the arena here in Buffalo. It was called HSBC Arena. But then here we are, the day of the gig. I'm just looking at some comments here. Yeah. So we're driving up to the show, and on the radio, I remember hearing, it turned out to be Sad But True, but the yeah, that ga part in the drums, that really stood out to me. I've never heard anything like that before in my life. Really made a good impression on me. And man, oh man, that's I'm like, what song is this? And I remember Jared saying Sad But True. Incredible. But we got up there. I was deciding what I wanted to wear for the show back in my house. And I remember I was going to go to that in a green polo shirt. And my mother, she said, well, Kevin, you're going to a rock concert. Isn't that a little different? You know, you should wear something like a t-shirt or something. I forget what t-shirt I wore, but I did not wear a green polo. I'm just hoping we don't lose connection here like I've done with this camera. Am I good? All right, cool, thanks. So Sad But True came on the radio. We're getting stoked. Mrs. Lee dropped us 3 kids off, again, age 15, being dropped off at this big-ass stadium with a bunch of people wearing chains and belts and leather, and it was just an entire new experience for me. And I remember when we got into our seats, nosebleeds, man. It was just complete nosebleeds back of the stadium there. Someone had lit up a big-ass stash of weed. I mean, this fat one. And until then, I don't think I've ever inhaled marijuana or pot. And I remember me and Ryan and Jared looking at each other, wondering, you know, what that smell is. And this girl, I just remember it was like a Pinocchio nose, just complete big ass thing. And Mudvayne came out. Mudvayne, again, the only song I knew about Mudvayne was Dig and the music video. And when that hit, that was a good time. And then out came Deftones, one of my all-time favorite bands right now. Deftones, for years, until I got into Deftones, I always thought Deftones, I mean, the band name itself, Deftones, I thought the band was just so screamy, and I remember not liking them at all. They opened up with a song called Head Up, which is off the Around the Fur record. I mean, play Head Up. For a kid who was, into Bizkit and Linkin Park and Rob Zombie and stuff, a lot of that squealing, I mean, it scared me. It scared the shit out of me. And they ended up playing My Own Summer Shove It. They closed the set with Hexagram. Hexagram is also a really, really good one. I know Christian Lavender, that's one of his favorite Deftones songs. Up next is Linkin Park. Linkin Park. So I get the Metallica, Linkin Park, Bizkit, Deftones, and so on. But Linkin Park, man, that's they were on the Meteora tour, and I took that for granted. I really, we were getting Figure 09 and Don't Stay and all those songs. They ended up filming a DVD that summer live in Texas. But that show with Linkin Park, man, I remember Chester, God rest his soul, Chester and Mike, they were always talking in between songs, which I liked a lot. That had a good impression on me. Like, you go to a show, these bands are playing songs, then in between these songs, they're joking with each other and bullshitting and so on. Just getting all those songs. I knew every word of all those songs, and it was so fun to see Linkin Park live. So fun. The reason I'm talking about this show, I was going to wait till the summer, but I've got something happening on Monday. That's going to go right here. And I will post what that's going to be. Linkin Park means a lot to me. As much of a tribute that is going to be to the 20th anniversary of the first rock record that I ever loved, Hybrid Theory, is a tribute to Chester Bennington. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that show. I remember there was a little pyro accident in the middle of the Linkin Park show. There was some fire that happened, fire that just started right above there on the curtain, and they stopped the show. And I remember at that point, I was just being in a stadium full of these types of people, I was like, okay, I could use a break. And me and Ryan, I remember sitting down and being thankful to sit down and just give it a breather. Looking at some comments here. Yeah. And I remember Mike Shinoda telling the crowd, if someone falls down, pick them up. You know, that was like, you know, again, 15 years old, never being at a rock concert. I'm like, oh, is that what happens? I mean, I've seen hockey fights at hockey games over the years. Yeah, and the pyro happens. It's just amazing. They left the stage. I was stoked. Limp Bizkit was coming out next again. Never seen Limp Bizkit before. They were without Wes Borland. I would later have a conversation with him and bring that up with him. And he would correct me. Yeah, I wasn't on that tour. I wasn't in the band. I was like, oh. But Wes Borland, one of my all-time favorite guitarists, he was replaced by, I forget his name, but I remember Fred Durst got on the mic, and my first CD I ever bought was Britney Spears' Baby One More Time. And I remember him talking about Britney Spears and how much of a bitch she is. And then he said, I remember him saying how hot she is too. And then I remember him going up to the amps, and there was like this really dramatic kind of like volume up, volume down thing. And he brought it up, and up. And it was just like, holy crap. It got to that Buffalo Sabres, you know, moment where it got so loud and everything. Limp Bizkit was a party, as they always are. See him in Australia. Mark, you know what I'm talking about, right? You know what I'm talking about. Mark is a big fan of Limp Bizkit too. But seeing them in Australia and California and so on, it's always such a good time. And just to have this shirt, you know, Bizkit, love the souvenir. You know, you got the band, you got the different bands here, Metallica, Bizkit. You could see the red hat and everything. But this is before Results May Vary came out, and they opened up with Hot Dog into My Generation. I think Hot Dog has one of my favorite lines is, if I say fuck 2 more times, there's 46 fucks in this fucked up ride. So I think he says the F word like 50 times in there. So again, 15 years old, going to the show, just what a wake up call. And just, it was this world I've never even knew about that existed, and to be exposed to that and to get, you know, these bands and just the loudness, the bigness in this big stadium, you know, and our weed smoking friend right here, you know, no beers, just waters. It was a shock to the system, and I loved every second of it. It's tough to explain, because especially with the next band that came out was Metallica. And with Metallica, I'm 32. I get to say I saw Metallica when they were in their 30s too. Metallica, all the guys were 39 years old. It's a trip to think about that I saw them at that time. Looking at some comments here. Thanks, Rye. Yeah, it was Mike Smith that replaced Wes Borland and recorded really good The Who cover, Behind Blue Eyes. Results May Vary. Sweet. And yeah, this shirt I bought off my twin brother Ryan. I did years later. So Ryan, thanks a lot for this, man. Hats off to you. Ho ho ho, ho ho ho. How do I look? Good, good. All right. They opened up with Battery. Metallica opened up with Battery. That was the first Metallica live song that I got, was Battery, man. And to this day, I mean, I've retired from headbanging with some damage that I've had, but anytime Battery comes on Liquid Metal or just played for me somewhere, I just, you know, that outro, man. Getting that at the Fillmore, like I spoke about with Eric Lyson 2 weeks ago, awesome episode. At the Fillmore 30th anniversary, getting Jason Newsted on Battery. You know, getting Battery was amazing. Sabotrue, I mean, still to this day, it's my all-time favorite song, Sabotrue. Favorite song to play live, to perform, to play on the drums. I got to show you something quick. Right behind this guitar, that of course I'll bring over just for kicks. This guitar is signed by Robert Plant and Jimmy Page. How sweet is that? Official, and I am keeping this for Leonard. So when Leonard comes back home from Australia, when he comes home from Napa, I'll make sure that gets back to him. This is the first cymbal I ever cracked. And this is from Sad But True. And I just remember that's that outro part where I was just going, pow, pow. You know, I'm your dream. I'm you, sad but true. Someday I'd love to get Lars to sign this, but I cracked this with wood, man. And I was just getting into it at the house behind our house, which I still think is haunted. But my point is, sad but true, on that ride to stadium really woke me up. And then getting that live was incredible. Metallica brought out, like I said, Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, Mudvayne, and Deftones. I've read interviews since then of around that time of what happened. Pantera, I think Phil Anselmo had some choice words to say about Metallica there because they were just at the end of the Pantera run before Dime and Vinny went and filmed or recorded with Damage Plan. R.I.P. the Dime and Vinny. But imagine if Metallica at that time brought out metal bands, you know, whether maybe Machine Head or, you know, Pantera. I would have maybe not have even gone to that show if it wasn't for Linkin Park, because Linkin Park gave me the extra push to go to that show. But going to that show, and I remember Encore hit, and me and Ryan, we were done. You know, we were ready to go. We were tired, just all these heavy noises. And then we were halfway down the hallway, and then we heard James come back on the microphone. And that's when they performed Enter Sandman. And that's a song that we also recognized, the Enter Sandman from the drive there. But overall, I've shared this with Jason Newsted in 2016, that I just remember being in the back of the stadium and seeing the fists go up at the same exact time. Still to this day, I don't think there is a man alive that could command 60 to 70 to 100,000 people better from the palm of his hand than James Hetfield and Metallica. And just seeing, I told this to Jason, seeing the hands go up, the master during Master of Puppets, and the sing-alongs, the hey, hey, and so on, that I get the goddamn chills, man. It's 38 shows later, miles upon miles, no sleep, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars that I've spent to feed what gives me a heartbeat right now is Metallica. And that night, really, to share with you right now on I Ask No One, on this podcast, the one episode that I was looking forward to the most to sharing was, as Lars would characterize it, as a complete mindfuck. But it was something I'll never forget. And this is the one souvenir from that show that I have. So thank you, Ryan, for selling this to me. I'm going to take a look at some comments here. That's cool, Luke. Okay. Yeah, I'll include a link to the Sad But True pro shot from the show per my twin brother Ryan checking in from Athens. In the description, I'll share that. And if you like what you've seen so far, you know, shoot a subscribe. For the 7 people watching right now, thanks so much. And for the hundreds that will follow, a subscribe really helps. My goal in 2021 is to hit 1,000. So share this with your friends, like all that good shit. But that show, again, leaving that show, I remember going back to my parents. We spent the night. Did we spend the night? No, we drove back home that night. I remember getting back home and sharing with my parents, like, oh my God, you know, this. And Dad, he, in the weeks that would follow, my dad, again, happy belated birthday, Dad. He'd always share that this is going to be a Power Rangers phase or a Pokemon phase, but this is no phase because I asked no one. So, right, anything else to add about that show, you shoot. But again, we got the Bills playing tonight. The Bills are playing the Broncos. We're going to whoop some Bronco ass, hopefully. Go 11-3. And Governor Cuomo, New York State governor, he shared recently that if our numbers are looking a little bit better, if we host a home playoff game, which would be the first time in 25 years or something like that, 1991, they'll allow some fans in. So I'm going to really try and get in there. Next week is going to be Douglas Fruki, bodybuilder, professional bodybuilder, who I lifted with and would bump into and share the mirror with in Venice Beach, Gold's Gym a lot. We've stayed in contact. He's got one of the biggest backs that I've ever seen in my life. But we're going to talk a little bit of nutrition, a little fitness, wellness, weight training, all that stuff. I was in the gym this morning and it felt great just to get back in there while it reopened and just get a little pump. Ryan, thanks, Ryan, for the question. I've just got a few minutes here. Ryan says, who are you most excited to interview in 2021? Also, who are some big names you are going to go after? Good question. Very good question. Thanks, man. My very first guest of 2021 on January the 2nd, Saturday, is going to be the lead guitarist, ex-lead guitarist, but the lead guitarist of a band called Brittany Fox out of Philly. They moved to the Sunset Strip, 80s hair metal, that Mötley Crüe, Winger, Warrant, Great White, Dawkins, Rat, all that kind of stuff. Michael Kelly Smith was in the thick of it there. Michael Kelly Smith teaches my buddy Luke guitar in Philadelphia. That's right. And he's been kind enough to appear on my show. I think the last interview that I saw online of him was from 2002. So it'll be nice to get him back in there. He's a guitar instructor doing this all virtually. So we'll blow that up a bit. We'll get in some wacky and crazy stories from the road from the 1980s and the hair metal and all that kind of stuff. But just speaking with him on the phone, he's really excited and just a really nice guy. Really nice guy. And you hear the Pennsylvania accent. So that's going to be January 2nd. Seth Fromberg, director of security for Metallica, Slipknot, Linkin Park. Another great guy. He's going to be appearing. Also, that has agreed to appear is the lead singer of Lamb of God, Randy Blythe. Love him. Photographer, philanthropist, surfer, all-around good dude. One of my spirit animals. Going to look forward to get that going, hopefully in the first few months there. Rob Caggiano, lead guitar for a band called Volbeat out of Denmark. Q-Prime band. So Rob Caggiano's agreed. So those are the big names that have agreed. And I'll be hitting a year. The show will be a year old the first week of May. And by then, my goal is to have James Hetfield on. So James Hetfield, lead singer of Metallica. Or Lars. Maybe I get them together. So that's the goal. To keep interviewing. I think that's a new... I love talking about my shows and sharing souvenirs, and I think I'll do that once for every 4 shows. But I think to interview people that mean a lot to me, to connect with them in this Zoom platform and to share with others, I think is it's fun. It's fun. It's light. It's good shit. And Ryan asked me what question that I would ask James Hetfield. How many times have you been stung by a bee? James cures honey. He makes honey. At least he did in California or Colorado. Hey, Luke. Yeah, T-shirts. Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah. I want to make T-shirts. I want to make, I asked no on condoms. I want to get socks going, maybe some underwear. I think a little merch would be fun. Get a merch page. That's all I'll do. I'm going to keep after the cool heroes of mine to interview, get the merch going, get definitely a T-shirt in, and also, get a sponsorship with these guys. But I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I'll be back next week with Douglas Faruqi. It'll be an interview. It won't be live. But I hope you stay happy and you stay healthy and you stay hungry. You stay motherfucking heavy. And we'll see you next week. But this will probably be the last live one until next year. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Ho, ho, ho. Noel?
What?